Want to listen to the podcast where we talk sports raw and unfiltered?
Mahomes looking to flip, takes it in for the touchdown.
Looking for a little something on the edgy side?
Keep your head out there. They're going to do dumb. Play our game. All right? Play hard, but stay poised.
You're about to be locked into the Unscripted podcast.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
All right. Oh, man. Hey, look, one thing about traffic is traffic does not play fair. So, like, I anticipated 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the dot. I'm an on the dot guy, right? So, as I'm in traffic, my anxiety starts to get, like, going crazy. And I'm like, man, I'm not even going to make it home by 4 o'clock. So then I run through the door, and as I'm setting up everything real quick, guess what happens? I get the freaking bubblies. So my stomach is bubbling in the middle of me setting up things. So, oh, man, that's no here or there, man. Hopefully I can get everybody out the audio from both sides today because we are running a simulcast as always. And I appreciate everybody taking time to listen to the Unscripted podcast. Make it easier for everybody, as you can see. You got some easy ways. There goes Facebook, make it personal. Twitter, at Brian A. Lion. Instagram, at Brian A. Lion as well. So my overlay is now the shameless plug, or a slight overlay. I haven't completed the process yet, so get prepared. We're going to have some big things happening on the Unscripted podcast. So, again, I, myself, running late, which I shouldn't be running, and I apologize to everybody because I don't run late. I don't do late. Late bothers the anxiety. Late bothers my damn notes. Let's just be honest. Late bothers my notes. So, all right. Let's talk real quick. Let's go something positive first because we always get stuck and we go into negative things and we talk about, all the negative things going on. Let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins. What a catch by DeAndre Hopkins on Sunday. Now, I told everybody that Arizona was going to be dangerous. I told everybody Arizona was going to be dangerous. And you know what everybody told me? Nah, Arizona ain't dangerous. Brian, Arizona ain't winning the division. Arizona is going to win their division. I hate to say it. It's going to happen. But what a catch of the year by DeAndre Hopkins. And I get it. So, like, everybody is like, oh, man, I've been a DeAndre Hopkins fan. He's the best wide receiver in the league. Here's my problem with any of that, right? Everybody is like, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, it was DK Metcalf. Oh, everybody, man, DK Metcalf, man, DK's coming through. Man, DK's great. Look, DK's good. I was giving him that credit. I never thought once in a blue moon was DK either DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Amari Cooper even. I don't think DK Metcalf was that great yet, so I wasn't ready to anoint him. But what a catch by DeAndre Hopkins. There's nothing else you can really even say. Like, you just got to give it that type of credit. So, and a shameless plug, this is the new shameless plug. As always, to donate to the podcast improvements, you can Venmo or Cash at me at Brian Ain't Lying. Take time out. It's $5. It ain't hard. Help out. I know you guys tend to help out with a lot of different things, so I definitely appreciate everybody who has donated so far. All right, so let's get to the good stuff here. Let's talk about Carson Wentz, okay? I don't want to talk about the NFC East all over again because I'm not going to do it. But now my next question would be to everybody, who goes first? Is it Carson Wentz or Doug Pederson? Me personally, I think it needs to be Carson Wentz. Listen, he turns the ball over too much. You overpaid for him. I said this. You should have stuck with Nick Foles. He was the hot guy at the time. You don't just bench or get rid of a guy who helped you win a Super Bowl for the unknown. That's what Carson Wentz was coming back from injury. He was the unknown. I think that Doug Pederson probably wanted to go with Nick Foles. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie was like, nah, man, I got a young guy right here, Carson Wentz. I want to play with Carson Wentz the rest of the season. Hell no. Listen, I love Dak Prescott to death, right? Let's hypothetically say Andy Dalton gets me to the Super Bowl. I'm thinking about Andy Dalton being the franchise quarterback. I'm sorry. Dak's good. But you have to go roll with the hot hand. So in this case, I'm going to say that Carson Wentz is probably done as a Philadelphia Eagle. that city, Philly, doesn't take well to people. And we will talk about Philly again later. But Philly doesn't take well to declining stars, or they don't take well to disappointment. So I feel bad. I don't feel bad for Philly, but Carson Wentz just isn't the guy. I think Doug Pederson may get one more year. He may get one more year. The problem with the Eagles, and nobody wants to address it, they're on a Super Bowl hangover. So, like, they run around and they're like, oh, man, we're winning the Super Bowl, 3 years ago. Nobody gives a damn. I don't give a damn if you won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. That means absolutely nothing. That's the problem. See, my team went through that. The Dallas Cowboys, they went through that, running around bragging about how many Super Bowls they won. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Nothing at all. So, Philly, you got a lot of decisions to make. It's either going to come down to Carson Wentz or Doug Pederson. My eyes, I think that you should probably roll with Doug as the coach and probably thinking about moving on from Carson Wentz. So I set the segue up kind of like this on purpose because I mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles and I mentioned Nick Foles, and I got a question out there for everybody that wants to discuss a lot of things. Nick Foles is the quarterback for the Bears right now, I guess. I don't know if he's starting or not. I know the injury right now has got him his day-to-day. I think Chicago's on a bye week coming up. My concern with Nick Foles is that he quit on that game Monday. Okay, so when he got carted off, okay, y'all know how Instagram work, Twitter work, Facebook work. When we see somebody carted off, what is the first thing that we do? The first thing that we do is we start saying, prayers up. We say prayers up. Everybody was prayers up at Nick Foles, prayers up, blah, blah, blah. This Bama got a bruised hip. This Bama got a bruised hip. Not a broken hip, not a bruised hip. See, if I'm Chicago, then now I'm starting to ask myself, or I'm going to ask the teammates, is this guy really for us? Does this guy really want to play? So the thing is, you lost to Kirk Cousins. 0-9 on Monday Night Football, right? And you lost to Kirk Cousins? Like, Chicago is done for the year in my eyes. Matt Nagy's probably done. Mitchell Trubisky's done. Chicago's going to be starting all over back again. See, I put Chicago in this category. Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, Cleveland Browns. They all tend to, like, meet up with each other. So you set all these high expectations, and then they underdeliver. Like, Chicago started off 5-1, right? 5-1. Everybody was like, oh, man, the Bears, they're doing something special. What, they done drop 5 in a row, 4 in a row? Again, this is the same thing that Dallas does, the same thing that the Cleveland Browns do. You pump these teams up the last couple of years. They have the talent. They have the pieces. Again, they cannot put it together. So, Chicago Bears fans, I feel bad. Yeah. I mean, again, Daryl, it's a bruised hip. Like, so they called it a hip pointer, and then they called it some other miraculous injury. Look, damn it. He got a bruised hip. It's purple. Put some damn Bengay on it. Put some damn Vaseline on it, and get back out there and play. Like mind you, again, I say this on any podcast, I never played on the highest level of sports. Like, so I played a Boys and Girls Club for a couple of years, right? But I'm a competitor. I ain't coming out the game. And if anybody's that's over on Facebook and Periscope, because we're running live all over the place right now, Facebook, Periscope, and I think even YouTube as well, help me understand this. When you got injured, right, if you could walk, aren't you going to walk back to the bench? You ain't going to let them bring the truck out for you. They brought the truck out for Paul Pierce style. Shout out to my guy, too, man, Chris Shanafelt, man. Give him a follow, man, on Twitter, man. Young guy. He's been doing this podcast thing just as well. Him and DJ Moore were on last night, and it was funny because I said Paul Pierce, and then DJ Moore was like, yeah, they brought the card out like Paul Pierce. Come on, man. Nick Foles got to do better, man. I expect better from a competitor. You just don't go out there and be like, yo, bring the card out. They're not bringing no damn card out for me. I got a bruised hip. Take me in the locker room, give me some Advil, rub something on it, and let me get back out there and try to compete, and help my team out. So, again, Chicago Bear fans, I feel bad for you. I know the feeling. I know the expectations are there. And then when you under-deliver, I know that feeling. talking about under-delivering real quick here, let's talk about Russell Wilson. So a couple of weeks ago, Russell Wilson was playing himself into the MVP race. So everybody was like, oh, man, Russell, it's a lock. Like, he's going to get MVP. He's going to be in that conversation. What has Russ done in the last couple of weeks now? Turn the ball over too much. Interceptions. Whatever it is. He's forcing the ball there. Trying to make plays that isn't there. Listen, Seattle's defense. Seattle's defense is terrible. What is Russ thinking in his head? He's saying, my defense can't stop their offense. Okay? So every time I'm out here, I need to try to score. I need to try to produce some type of points. And he's forcing the ball. I mean, I think, Sunday, 2-3 interceptions again? I mean, this is starting to become a bad thing that Russell Wilson is doing. Now, Seattle's defense can't stop anybody. Like, everybody that's listening to the podcast, I think if it's me and 10 of you guys, I think I got us beating Seattle's defense. Like, they aren't good. They are never prepared to play. I don't know what the issue is. But Russ has to tone it down just a little bit, make plays, make the plays that are there. And I hate to say it, punt the ball. Listen, Pete Carroll is one hell of a coach. And I don't want people to underestimate that Pete Carroll can't change the team around again, because he did when he first came into the team a couple of seasons ago. And I think that Pete Carroll can make a change in Seattle. So, again, Russell Wilson, to me, trying way too hard. I mean, I watched some of the throws that he made, and it was just like, nobody was there, Russ. Who was there? Nobody. Nobody was there to make the play. Like, DK Metcalf, he been locked up the last 3 weeks. Matter of fact, let me put a missing alert out for him. DK Metcalf, we looking for you. DK, they looking for you out there in Seattle, because, they crowned you 3 weeks ago, and now they can't find you, DK. They just can't find you. Now, I can tell you what we can find. And this is something I didn't even write down because I seen it flash across my phone like maybe this morning. I wanted to talk about the Giants potentially winning the NFC East. Now, mind you, I think Daniel Jones, I do not want to call him Danny Dimes. Like, he does not deserve a nickname. He's done nothing. Absolutely shit to deserve a nickname. And I hate to get upset like that, but he does not deserve a nickname. Daniel Jones has gone out there and done exactly what I said he should do, is manage the game. He has managed the game well. But Joe Judge and Mark Colombo get into it on Sunday night, Monday? And Mark Colombo's fired Tuesday morning. Like, come on, Joe Judge. You got to take your L peacefully. Look, you got pieced up, right? You got pieced up. Go take your L and be like, yo, let's go out here and coach Sunday. Let's get by it. Those are the growing pains of becoming a first-time head coach, because you're going to get all your coaching staff challenging you. Now, I get it. Fist fighting, probably a little too much from the coaching staff. But, Joe Judge, so if everybody comes up and fights you, you going to swing? Like, you just going to take some hits? You going to go out there and just be like, yo, I'm knocking people out left and right going forward now. Or I'm going to get knocked out, but I'm going to fire you. Nah, man. But I think in my beliefs, I believe that the Giants could win the NFC East. I'm not going to take Dallas out of it because, again, it's the NFC East. Anything can happen in the least. Everybody knows how it works. All right. I appreciate everybody listening to the podcast live. If you're watching it on Facebook and Periscope, definitely appreciate you. If you download the podcast, man, I pretty much love you as well, too, man. So we want to keep always getting those downloads up. And remember to donate to the podcast. As you can see right there, you can Venmo or Cash App, however much you feel. No too little is too much, and never too much is too little. I got to write that down, man, because I think I nailed it again this time, but I will not nail it again. It ain't happening. What I want to talk about real quick is, before we clean up the NFL, is the NFL protocol with the coronavirus, COVID-19. The NBA did one hell of a job with it, man. The NBA did something special that I'm just kind of like, why couldn't the NFL nail this down? So, like, every day or every week, the NFL is getting false positives, false negatives, positive negatives, whatever it is. And I'm telling everybody, it's going to come a time when it's going to come down to the end of the season, right? And somebody's going to want to play. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to report, what, a coronavirus. Somebody's tested positive for the coronavirus. And then they're going to say what? It's a false positive. Don't cost the team a game. So hopefully the NFL can start to clean this up. I can't make no guarantees they're going to clean it up, but definitely want to see them get it under control. Just real quick here for 49ers fans, you know how this happens. Kyle Shanahan expects Jimmy G to be the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers next year. So if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, all I can say is good luck. Again, I know how that feeling is when you are stuck with a quarterback that you really don't want. But I don't think that Jimmy G will be a San Francisco 49er next year. I just don't see it happening. Real quick before we take a quick break here, I want to talk about Antonio Brown. And I definitely want to get everybody's thoughts on Antonio Brown. So, AB, one hell of a talent, right? Why is it that they want to come out with this damn news left and right? And yes, I'm getting upset because it's like he's paid his dues. He was out the NFL. He knew what he did was immature in Oakland. It just wasn't the right thing to do. He paid his dues. Guess what? Give the man another chance. And that's what he got. Bruce Arians trusted Tom Brady to give Antonio Brown another chance. Well, then guess what they do? They go out on the news and start busting out with, oh, AB's done this, AB's done that, AB's done this. Look, man, the man has paid his dues. He's quiet. He's in Tampa Bay. He ain't making no noise. Guess what? AB, you get my love. I think that they need to let things go eventually. There have been a lot of other talent who has done things, and they've let things slide. Again, you have to play fair ball. And I'm not a fan of, oh, man, we're just going to keep talking about AB because it was wrong. So, again, let Antonio Brown do him. He's quiet. He's staying quiet. He's not being in anybody's way at this time. So, again, AB, let him do him. Let him do him. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. Come on the other side of the break. I hope that everybody gets the commercials again this week. Think last week I did okay. Got to get a little better at it, but running the solo show, baby, as always. Solo podcast, so trust and believe me, it is hard to do a ton of these things behind the scenes. What we'll do is we'll take a quick break, come back on the other side of the break, talk about some breaking news that has happened today, and a little bit of NBA. Yeah, man, because it's definitely some things happening in the league today. So I know everybody's caught it, but I definitely want you guys' opinion on it. I definitely want to share mine. You're listening to the Unscripted podcast. Hang tight, folks. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio. It's Freddie and Fitzsimmons. You can catch me from 9 p. to 1 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and Sirius XM Channel 80. But when I'm not on the radio, one of my favorite podcasts to listen to is my man Brian Langford and the Unscripted podcast. You will not be sorry. Give it a listen. Give it a thought. He's going to make sure you're going to think plenty about what's going on in your life. So check it out. Brian Langford on the Unscripted podcast.
This is President Barack Obama. In the story of America, the greatest chapters are moments of challenge, when we see people serving their country and one another. Volunteers who step forward into hospital corridors and church basements, along levees and fire lines. And the next chapter is yours to help write. Sign up to volunteer at usaservice.org. That's usaservice.org. Let's renew America together.
A message from Renew America Together, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Dimes are shiny and round. Nickels are also round.
This 28-year-old woman may sound a little strange to you and me, but to her 3-year-old daughter, she makes perfect sense.
Pennies are round too.
They are.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. So follow their lead. Take everyday moments like an errand at the bank and turn them into learning moments.
Dollars are rectangles.
I like dollars.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Unscripted podcast is back. Man, you know what? So that's what I'm saying. I've got a couple of things coming in. I've got a little intern coming to help me out soon. I'll be at a remote location very soon. Trust and believe me, it'll be me and 3 other people there. So, yes, I am being COVID. I'm following the COVID procedures. I would not put myself in that type of risk. But, yeah, I will be at a remote location very, very soon. Appreciate getting everybody listening to the podcast. Simulcast it all on Facebook and Periscope as well. As always, you can feel free to donate to the podcast as always. You can Venmo or Cash App, whatever one you want to do. I always say, oh, wow. Okay. Looks like spam. All right. Sorry about that. If you didn't get the commercials on Twitter, I truly, truly apologize. I'll get it. I'll nail it. I will nail it one week where everybody gets everything. So, again, appreciate you taking time out your busy day to check out the podcast. All righty. So, remember, December 1st is the raffle. I am giving away $50 of my own money. Again, you have to donate $5 to the podcast, and I promise to you that I will give away $50 of my own moolah. So, why not? Why not enjoy $50 of my money? All right, so before we start here, we got some breaking news in the NBA. It's sad to report, and just trust and believe me, it's very sad to report that Klay Thompson will miss the 2020-2021 season with an Achilles tear. Man, let me tell you something. I don't know, man. It sucks that Klay Thompson is out for the entire year. That guy wanted to come back and give it his all, and he was maybe rushing it back just a little. I think Klay wanted to be in that game. He wanted to be back as quicker than anybody else, and Klay didn't get that opportunity. He won't get the opportunity. As you see, I posted up Max comments again. He's a real Golden State fan. He believes that they won the draft last night by getting their big man in James Wiseman. My question would always be is, how much longer do you think Steph Curry's going to be around? Steph Curry's not a spring chicken anymore, starting to get a little bit older. I truly feel bad for Klay Thompson, man. So definitely, Klay, get better. Look forward to seeing you 2021-2022 season, which is, man, that's just rough, man. All right, what's also rough is that, you know, there's a lot of trades that's been happening in the NBA, and I don't do trade talk. I don't want to talk about left and right. I just want to talk about the things that happen that are very interesting and funny. Al Horford gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? His brother and his sister go on Twitter and basically say, thank you. And I was like, okay, they're thanking Philly, you know, for the time. It didn't work. No, they wanted out of that hellhole in Philadelphia. So we all knew, because we've seen it, from day one, it didn't work. It just didn't work for the Philadelphia 76ers and Al Horford. See, I knew when Al left Boston, it was a financial decision. I respect that. But looking how Horford wears his emotions on his sleeves, it was almost like he went into Philly as an intruder, not as a guy who was trying to help the team win a championship. And again, Philly wasn't going to win a championship with 5, 6, 8 guys in a starting lineup. It just wasn't meant to work. You have to have a traditional point guard to at least carry the load. Or, again, you can't have Ben Simmons and Embiid both in the paint, and then Al Horford wants to be in the paint as well. But, yeah, so Al Horford's sister just, like, goes on a tangent. His brother goes on a tangent, and it's just like, I just need to get out of this hellhole. And they're happy for Al. It didn't work. Again, I'll say it slower. It did not work for Philadelphia and Al Horford. And I don't think it was more of Al. I think it was less of Philly. I don't think he ever really fit into their game plan. So, yeah, man, Al Horford and his brother and his sister, man, definitely was funny. If you follow his sister on Twitter, she is in YOLO mode. So if you hit her up, she is going to screenshot you and put you out there in the open. All right, real quick here, we're talking about the Boston Celtics and Philly. Let's talk about Gordon Hayward here. On the last podcast, I mentioned that Gordon Hayward would be crazy to walk away from $34.1 million. So I come to think about it a little bit. I still think he's crazy if he walks away from 34 million. I mean, I think I would fake it and be happy, but I get it. Gordon Hayward wants to be contributing in a role with another team that he feels like he's wanted. Boston, he feels like he's the odd man out. So you got Kemba, Marcus Smart, Tatum, and Brown. They probably hang out together real well, right? Gordon don't hang with nobody. Gordon's a family man. He goes home. I'm not saying that Kemba and all the other guys aren't, but it just seemed like Gordon was the odd man always out in that roster. And you feel bad because you think about 2017, that injury from Gordon Hayward changed his entire career. It helped Paul George come back and be a little bit better, but it never helped Gordon Hayward and his career be better. Now, he came back, and I think Hayward was still a solid player, but, I don't think Gordon was ever himself. And, again, if he takes the trade, if a team takes on the Gordon Hayward contract, good luck, because that's $34 million, man, and I just don't see, a team taking on that type of contract. But I see that Atlanta Hawks were engaged in possibly acquiring Gordon Hayward along with Rondo. So, maybe if they can get a Rondo, Hayward, and Trae Young, I mean, it's not a big three. It's like a mini 1.5 maybe, not a big three at all. So, again, I'm not here to slander Rondo or anybody else. I'm just thinking that if I'm Gordon Hayward, I may want to stick around for $34 million reasons. We know who didn't stick around, and that's Mike D'Antoni. And it all makes sense now. It all truly makes sense. I said, I was on Twitter one night, and I was like, why did Mike D'Antoni just resign, quick? Okay? He said, I'm not coming back. And I was like, okay, I get it. Mike, you don't want to come back. Team's a little dysfunctional. You're getting a little bit older. You don't have time for the stress anymore. Okay? So Steven Silas gets the job. And then now Westbrook and Harden are like, bye. Westbrook's like, get me out of here. Harden was like, oh, I'm committed. But he was never really committed. See, James Harden is a good player. I think James Harden is a great scorer. Probably one of the greatest scorers we've seen in NBA history. But my problem with James is, again, he doesn't do anything else but score. Everybody can't score. It's an offensive league now. I agree. If anybody doesn't think it's an offensive, I'll say, Brian, it's an offensive league. Nobody plays defense anymore. How many basketballs are on the floor at one time? There's one basketball. Okay? How many people can score at one time? One person, right? So the other two guys have to do something different, or as part of a big three. James Harden would not work out in Brooklyn. That is a no-no. I am not interested in seeing Oklahoma City Junior of the East. That's exactly what Brooklyn would be if Harden goes there. They're Oklahoma City Junior of the East. I don't like that. I'm not cool with it. So if I'm Houston, which they are doing, they are holding on to Westbrook and Harden. I don't like to see Steven Silas even go out like Steven Silas walked into a trap. And if I'm him, if I'm Steven Silas, I'm bold. Brian's going to resign. I will pull a Billy Donovan quick. I'll be like, yo, I'm out of here. This ain't what I signed up for. I signed up to get James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Don't get me wrong. I think Russ is starting to decline a little bit, but he's not going to sign up for. They just got Trevor Ariza. He's not signing up just to have PJ Tucker. No, hell no. So again, Steven Silas, I feel bad for, but there was a reason why Mike D'Antoni decided to walk away from this team. I don't like the idea of the Westbrook and Wall being entertained trade. It's like, okay, you ever get up in the morning and look in the mirror? That's what the Westbrook and Wall trade can end up being. They're the same guys. They do nothing different. Now, if I'm Washington and I don't want to make Wizards fans upset, I would entertain trading Bradley Beal. Why? Golden State is missing Klay Thompson. Guess what Golden State will do to stay relevant? Golden State will give you the farm, okay? So you could get a good defender. I think the kid off the bench, Pascal, good defender. You can get a couple of picks, and you move Bradley Beal. Listen, Washington isn't winning nothing with retrade coaches. Scotty Brooks is not going to win an NBA championship for you. Do I think that Scott Brooks had a good tenure with Oklahoma City? He did. Is he going to win your championship in Washington? No. Go ahead, make the trade, You trade Bradley Beal. You get assets back. Look what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing. Small market team, and they've got 1,001 first-round picks. Everything they got, first round. And everybody's like, well, why are they stacking up on first-round picks? Well, again, me and a good friend of mine last night had a good conversation on Twitter where they say it's a small market. Like, nobody's going to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, nobody, that's no shame to that city or that franchise, but people are talking about, Lakers, Clippers, Celtics, even Mavericks. Like, nobody's saying, oh, I want to go play with OKC. That's not the thing anymore. All right, and we know the draft was last night, and Jordan got Melo. Jordan got LaMelo Ball, son of LeVar Ball. Let me tell you something. I never hate LeVar Ball as a father because guess what? I'm always going to speak high of my children. I hated that he wanted to steal the spotlight from his children, okay? So Lonzo should have been what? Hoisting up an NBA championship. Guess what happens? He's not hoisting up an NBA championship. Why? You make LeBron James mad. And LeBron says, sir, you will be traded. So, again, if I'm Lonzo or LaMelo or even LiAngelo, I'm like, Dad, stay in the background. It's okay to root for us because I'm okay with that. Again, any father that's listening to the podcast, you must be real with yourself and say, man, look, I love the fact that as a dad, he is fist pumping. He's out there. He's going to boost his kids up. But, man, he's got to learn how to stay at the spotlight. And hopefully with LaMelo Ball being out in Charlotte, he gets an opportunity to learn a lot of things from the greatness of Michael Jordan and even probably help Charlotte reach the playoffs for the first time in a couple years because they have not made the playoffs. Again, we don't talk about a ton of trades. If anybody wants to know, Ricky Rubio's back in Minnesota. And again, I know everybody's sending their prayers out to Klay Thompson. And just know, guys, we get the NBA back in about a month. NBA season comes back in a month. I'm excited. I know everybody else is. So, again, always continue to donate to the podcast. You can Venmo or Cash App as well. I appreciate everybody taking time to listen this week. Sorry about a quick version of the podcast this week. Ton of things going on today. So, again, you can catch me every single Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We do have a couple of guests coming on, but I want to save them until 2021. You'll see maybe a couple of NBA champions, established media, and also entrepreneurs. So we definitely want to make sure all of our entrepreneurs are recognized as well. So with that being said, listen to the Unscripted podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Remember, God is love. Get some.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time.